Assalamu alaikum. Today's lecture is about managing quality. It is from subject operations management and step number 5. So let's get started. We will first discuss about the term quality that we usually speak about, we read about, we discuss with our friends, family, relatives. Whenever we have to share our experience regarding a brand or a business or a service, we frequently use the word quality. Basically, as per the definition, the defining quality depends upon people defining it. There is no particular definition of quality. It's different from different people because it makes sense because every person has different choices, needs, and the expectations that satisfy their needs, their desires, everything is different. So in that scenario, we say that when choices are different, when comparison levels are different, so the quality standards are also different from person to person. So whatever is good in quality for you might not be good in quality for others, or whatever is good in quality for others might not be good for me. So we all have different standards. So in that scenario, the quality has no particular definition. It varies from person to person, and altogether we say anything, a happy experience from a product or a service. It's a happy experience. It is a satisfactory experience from a product or a service. Then in today's world, because there is a lot of competition, many brands are entering and leaving the market, there is a constant pressure on the businesses to maintain the quality. And how they can do that, this is by just fulfilling the expectations of their customers. That's just because they have to stay in the market. They have to stay in the market for the long run. They don't want to get out of it, and they have to perform their work for indefinite period. Now there are the costs to perform, to improve the quality, to maintain the quality that satisfies the customers. So a process that is failing to satisfy a customer is considered as a defect. And to overcome that, companies spend significant time, effort, and expense on systems. They perform cost of training to the staff, cost and effort on organizational changes needed, gauging current level of performance with expected one to help figure out process gaps. So the gaps in the process are something to be very considerate about because they reflect the potential dissatisfied customers and additional cost for the firm in long run. So we have to be very thoughtful about the gaps whenever we come to know that there are gaps in our performance or in our processes. We have to figure them out as soon as possible. Most experts estimate that the cost of quality range from 20 to 30% of gross sales. So the business performing it have to pay out of their sales 20 to 30%. Okay. Now we are reached to the point that there are types of costs that businesses perform, and there are 4 major types of the costs that they perform. One is the prevention, other is appraisal, number 3 is the internal failure, and external failure. So we will discuss all of the 4 costs in our lecture today. So we are moving with our first cost, which is prevention cost. And what are basically prevention costs? As the word suggests, that these costs are performed in order to prevent some mistake, or might be something which is not good for your firm. So before occurrence of certain event, we are performing that step. We are engaging in reduction of the mistakes, the mishaps. So we have to incur certain costs. So nothing is free, as you know. For doing something, we have to pay for it, and these are the costs to prevent any kind of mistakes. So let's read it. Costs that are associated with preventing defects before they happen. In order to prevent problems from happening, firms must invest additional time and effort and money. So yes, we are agreed with it. These costs includes costs of redesigning the process to remove the cause of poor performance. Now, sometimes when a process is going on, you don't know why the final product is not working good as per expectations. So there might not be problem with the product, but there might be a problem with the process through which it is going. So sometimes entire process needs to be changed, or a particular step needs to be reorganized, or in a manner that your process becomes nice, and the final product becomes good and acceptable. So redesigning the service or product to make it simpler to produce. It simply means that either you redesign it because there are some gaps in the performance of it and it's not satisfactory. So you redesign the service or a product just to meet the expectations. Training the employees is very, 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 very important, because it's not just the machines who are handling all the work, and and employees are just needed to package and to just look after the machines performing the work. It's much more than that. Knowledgeable staff and knowledgeable employees can add quality in the performance of your firm, also can give you some certain suggestions when they are needed, and they can also suggest the process lapses. They can help you in designing the processes and improving the quality of overall production or services. So it's worth, if you invest in employee trainings, it worth every single rupee worth. So the cost of training is also important for the businesses. Other is working with suppliers to increase the quality of purchased items, because our business depends upon the raw material that we receive from our suppliers, and if it is of not a good quality, then trust me that whatever efforts you put in, whatever materials you put in, additional materials or the time or effort, nothing is going to work. The product will not be of that standard. So the first thing first that we need to consider is that we have to be in a contact with our supplier, and we have to invest on him in such a way that he provides us a quality material. So these are the costs to prevent the mistakes, the defects in our production. Step number 2, or the second type of the cost, are appraisal costs. These are the term. So think of the appraisal from theory of HRM that we use for employee appraisal. Appraisal is simply assessment. Okay, so these are the cost of assessment that we usually do with our products. You have seen it on television and in programs, and you have no knowledge about it, that while production is going on, before dispatching it to the customer, they select a sample out of it. There's a sampling team, statistical team, and that team approve your product, and then rest of the production, rest of the batch is working, um, is going to the process. So the appraisal costs are those relating to those costs. These are the inspection costs that are needed to check the performance of your business, and these costs basically decrease the chances of defects in your product that reach in the hands of the customers. So, and another thing is that in appraisal, costs help you to search the causes of any problems that are detected. Now, because you detected certain problem, but you don't know the reason, so appraisal costs are all those costs that you will invest in a team, might be, or an engineering group that you have created just to check out why the certain problem occurred in a production. And the other good thing is that the appraisal costs are reduced dramatically when you have invested properly in the prevention costs. So there will be lesser defects due to your first cost that you have done. And so appraisal costs will decline in accordance with your prevention costs. Then we have internal failure costs. Suppose that during a production, you at a certain point have come to know that the defects are, you know, defects are occurred in our production, and what would you like to do then? What would be your decision? I think first thing, you will stop the production right away, because you don't want that particular defect should be transferred in all of the production. Suppose, take an example of a shampoo, like in shampoo production assembly line. Suppose any one chemical is put in a more quantity, and it has disturbed the overall formula of the shampoo. Now, as soon as the staff and the team knows about it, they will stop the production, and they will look for the reason why this happened, and then they will decide that what action should be taken on it. First, they will stop it, and then they will see that what action should be taken. Either then there will be two actions that they can take if internal failure is occurring. The first one is a rework. Either they will rework if there's a space for adjustment, then they can adjust it. For example, by including a certain level of other uh, chemical, it might balance out the overall formula of the shampoo. Then they would do that. That is a rework, for example. But they if even if adding that or any other chemical to balance out the formula is not working, and it will not work at any cost, so what they do in instinct, they cannot continue production. So that is a step when they will scrap it, they will just dismiss it, they will discard it, because that is a faulty and defective item. That if it is going to the customer, reaching to the customer, that can cause much disasters, and the firms don't want that. So they can do two things, and these are the costs, because if you are reworking on your product, it costs you. Even if you are scrapping it, you are already have put the cost, and again you have to put a cost in it. So these are the internal failure costs. And now we are talking about external failure costs, which is the last type of category of the cost. Costs that arise when a defect is discovered after the customer receives the service of the product. These are those costs. That's why we call it external, because it's now not in our hands. It's the product is reaching the hand of the customers, and now we have to just fix the problem that is arised. And the thing is that encountering these kind of complaints and fixing these defects can be very costly when your product is in the hand of the customers, because you don't know that what kind of fix it needs. Either it needs a repair, or it needs a complete change of the product. So that this can be a costly thing. But anyways, dissatisfied, if you don't satisfy them, you already know why to do the external failure course. And there are the firms that don't feedback, don't listen to the complaints of the customers. So in short run, this doesn't seem to be a very big business or big thing, but in long run, it's going to very very heavily impact your business and your profits. So businesses very well these days know about that the dissatisfied customers talk about bad service or products to their friends, who in turn tell others. If the problem is bad enough, the customer protection groups may even alert the media. So we see this these days on media, and we have heard about it, that dissatisfied customer. For example, my friend is dissatisfied from certain brand. She would definitely tell me, and I would never ever will go there, because that is something one step safer side. I'm taking one step to the safe side. Why would I ever go to the business who has already done a deceptive sales to my friend or my cousin or my family? So yes, this thing is actually very powerful, and businesses know that, and they don't want to do that. They want to fix it at any cost, and that is the external failure cost. So the external failure cost erode market share and profit. External failure cost also include warranty, service, and litigation cost. Sometimes, yes, definitely the profits are gone, the share margins are gone, but in long run, it's going to save your business. And the type of the cost that you are performing is sometimes the warranty and the litigation cost. So hope that video was helpful, and thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.